Happy New Year, everybody. 2022 has been a great year of wrestling with the return of the crowds for the full calendar year. Pops and crowd reactions have elevated matches and moments in wrestling. It's time to look back to the matches that can't be missed in 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Comon, your resident wrestling guru, and here are the top 10 must watch wrestling matches in 2022. If you are new and you haven't subscribed yet, please do click that subscribe button and make my new year great by subscribing to this channel. And also, don't forget to super kick that notification bell so you won't miss any of my uploads. Before we get to the list, here are some honorable mentions. Both Iron Survivor matches at NXT Deadline. NXT Deadline was the last NXT pay-per-view of the year, and this match is a glimpse of what the future of WWE will look like. From the men's matches with Carmelo Hayes and others, and this match type or this matches led to the win and breakout moment for Roxanne Perez, which is lovely. Also, this year's men's War Games match, I mean, it's a great match. It's more of a storyline than a match itself. It's still great though. Jay showing Iron Man levels of endurance starting off the match, and of course, the MVP of the match, Sami Zayn, building up to the next installment of the storyline of him joining the Bloodline. And lastly, Anarchy in the Arena. It may be one of the corniest match names that I have ever seen. Well, given that it has Jericho in it, it surpassed everyone's expectation with Blackpool Combat Club versus JAS feud when it was still quote unquote a hot feud. It's a good brawl around the arena while the theme song of Jon Moxley was still playing for the first part of the match, and also it gave us one, if not the sickest image of 2022, a bloodied Eddie Kingston going down the ramp with a gas can in his hand looking like Trevor from GTA, ready to burn the whole place down. Now, without further ado, let's move on with the list. Number 10, Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania 38 Night 1. Okay, so starting off with the celebrity comedy match, Sami Zayn really did his part to make it not just another celebrity match, wherein it's just the pro wrestler does the whole thing, and then the celebrity gets a few spots here and there, and then the finish. This is a full-on sports entertainment match. Johnny Knoxville did his part so well that in an interview on the Broken Skull podcast, Zayn said that there was a time during the rehearsal. Yes, wrestling matches are rehearsed.
I think this is fake.
You think it's fake? What's that? Is that fake?
So that they would know their spots, but some, especially the veterans of the industry, can go without rehearsing. We can talk more about this if you all want. Just comment it down below. Anyway, going back, Zayn said that Knoxville asked the people who are in charge of the match how to do the final spot, the mousetrap spot manually, so when something goes wrong, the spot will still move forward. And to be honest, that's just an extra effort for Knoxville, which shows that he has great respect for the business that we all love. And isn't that nice? Number 9, FTR versus the Briscoes for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles at Supercard of Honor 2022. Oh boy. FTR has won, if not the greatest year run for a tag team wrestler in 2022, having classic matches from the dream match of Young Bucks versus FTR2 on a random episode of Dynamite, the match versus Aussie Open at Royal Quest 2, and the most recent one was the match against La Faction Ingobernables with Dralistico and Dragon Lee, where Dralistico and Dragon Lee defeated FTR for the AAA Tag Team Championships. Not only that, they also have four 5-star matches this year and held the IWGP World Tag Team titles, AAA, and Ring of Honor Tag Team titles at the same time. Isn't that freaking amazing? But yeah, FTR is built different in 2022, but the caveat in that year of accolades and banners is the trilogy between FTR and the Briscoes. So, the first match of the trilogy was the first match of the trilogy is the Super Card of Honor match, where in my opinion is the best one out of the three because um because of the anticipation, the build up, and the dream match aspect of it. I know the second and the third ones are also great. Y'all should watch the trilogy. The trilogy. Um, you all should watch the trilogy because all of the matches are amazing. The first one is the Super Card of Honor. The second one is the 2 out of 3 falls, and then the third one is the double dog collar match. Yeah, the build up for the first one is just superb. Starting off from the last show of Ring of Honor before they went on hiatus, where FTR and the Briscoes had a stare down, and in the first pay-per-view of the Tony Khan era Supercard of Honor, they battled for the titles and FTR won the titles. Plus, this is just a straight up wrestling match, no gimmicks, no, not really a spot fest, but more of them just squaring up each other to see who is the better tag team. And in this bout, again, FTR won, winning the tag titles. Number 8, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed for the AEW World Tag Team Championships at All Out 2020. Another tag team feud which went into a trilogy. The Acclaimed, the tag team that everybody loves, and the team that are day ones or day one signees and the AEW brand that have been stirring the pot for quite some time with controversial raps and stuff. And in 2022, they have reached that popularity level to be the title contenders, and they challenge Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee for the tag titles at All Out. And oh boy, the Chicago crowd let them have it. The Chicago crowd reacted huge to the Acclaimed, and so it made them huge stars of AEW after that bout. And even though they lost that match at All Out in Chicago, the second bout where the Acclaimed won the titles just made it sweeter for the boys who love scissors. Number 7, the Elite versus the Dark Order for the inaugural Trios Tag Team Championships at AEW All Out 2022. Another great match to a regular pay-per-view, right? Just a regular pay-per-view. No news-grabbing headlines that has affected the company for months, right? Anyway, setting aside what transpired post-pay-per-view, post-media scrum, the Elite versus Dark Order facing for the finals of the Trios Tag Team Championships is one of the classics. An elite style of tag team wrestling that they have mastered from their time in the indies, from PWG to New Japan, to Ring of Honor. This match is super kicks galore, with a lot of monkey flipping spots that would make Jim Cornette grab his rocket and smash it to his face. The wrestling is expected to be great because of the people involved, but with a story that is the Elite and Hangman Adam Page, and the moment where Adam Page and Kenny Omega dragged their teammates in the corner for them to tag themselves in and have a face-off is just chef's kiss. It's just sad that it gets to be derailed again by circumstances. Again, High Punk. Number 6, Kairi versus Mayu Iwatani for the inaugural IWGP Women's World Championships at Stardom X New Japan Pro Wrestling historic crossover pay-per-view. For those of you who don't know, New Japan Pro Wrestling is a wrestling company based in Japan who does not have a women's roster, and Stardom is also a pro wrestling company based in Japan who only has women roster, which in 2022 that New Japan have announced that they are having their own IWGP Women's World Champion, and they are setting up a tournament for the inaugural title, and the finals happened at Stardom crossover show with New Japan. For those of you who are not familiar with women's wrestling in Japan, or basically wrestling in Japan, basically it just means that they are making it look like they are hitting each other hard by actually hitting each other hard, and that this match has a lot of that. A pretty standard championship match, but this being a finals matchup for an inaugural tournament and an inaugural championship, and an historic one for that matter, makes this one a must-see wrestling match. Also, Kairi Sane is great. Kairi Sane is a great athlete that was underutilized during her time in the main roster. So there's that. Pirate Princess. Number 5, Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay, AEW x New Japan Forbidden Door. Easily one of my favorite matches ever. I am someone who doesn't list down or memorize my top matches ever, but this match will forever be on my list. In 2022, AEW and New Japan had a crossover show, which is really just a kid doing fantasy matches for 4 hours, and it kind of met the people's expectation on this fantasy matchup pay-per-view. But there are just some matches that would have been great if we are able to see, like the Omega vs Ospreay being one of those, but because of the injuries of AEW roster, matches like this weren't possible at that time. But hey, we are still getting Omega versus Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom, so we can still be happy about that. Anyway, speaking of Ospreay, this match with Cassidy was the most entertaining match that I have ever seen in my entire life. From the characters being portrayed, Cassidy being a quote-unquote lazy wrestler where he just knows when to put the effort or when to care, and Ospreay being a no-nonsense, straightforward wrestler. Their styles mashed together so well that it became a very entertaining, a very great matchup. And more than the characters, also the in-ring ability, easily meshing those things together makes this one of the great matches in 2022. Also, Orange Cassidy is cool, so there's that. Number 4, Sheamus versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at Clash at the Castle. This is, as Biggie would say, big meaty man slapping meat. And oh boy, did they slap meat. That sounded wrong, but anyway, you get my point. This is a hard-hitting match between two of the most hard hitters in wrestling today. Gunther, the former Walter. Gunther, being the former Walter, is the owner of the largest chops in the history of pro wrestling.
Be fearless is Sabre Jr. Look at this. Done it. Oh! Twist it. Oh.
And Sheamus, one of the most hard hitters in the WWE, makes this match a must-see. And this match is one of the turning points who built the momentum for the Brawling Brutes and the Imperium, and established Gunther as one of the great Intercontinental Champions in the future main eventers of WWE, and reignited the spark for Sheamus. Number 3, Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at Crown Jewel. Again, this is another celebrity match, but unlike the Zayn versus Knoxville match, this is a serious match feud. This feud gave us gems of Jey Uso and Sami Zayn storyline leading up to being Usi, and all of those gems from Sami Zayn. Also, there's a star-making performance for Logan Paul as someone who has transitioned from the social media or the celebrity aspect or field industry to the wrestling ring. You can just see in this match that Logan Paul have put in the work to elevate his craft as he ventures on to the wrestling business, and this is just his third match and it is a banger. And to be honest, during this feud, Logan Paul doesn't seem to be a viable contender for Roman Reigns, but during this match, there are some bits of this match that made us feel like Logan Paul would have dethroned Roman Reigns. And yeah, this is just a great match all in all. The spots are great. The the ending spot where Jake Paul came out and then they trade blows with the Usos, and then the Logan Paul impulsive guys already also were involved. This may be controversial, but number two, CM Punk versus MJF in a dog collar match, AEW Revolution pay-per-view. If you are wondering, yes, MJF versus Punk feud ended this year in 2022. Yes, this year. It feels like a lot has happened in 2022, especially involving CM Punk, for us to even fathom the idea that it was this year. Anyway, this feud has been one, if not the best feuds going into 2022. Outside Interference in YouTube have uploaded a very informative documentary for you to understand the whole story of MJF versus CM Punk, so I suggest you all check that out after watching this video so that you would understand what I'm saying. I have put the link down below or somewhere here so that you could check it out. Dog collar matches have been a signature for Punk, I guess, dating back to Ring of Honor. And this dog collar match is no different. This match is a star-making match for MJF, and even for Wardlow, where during this match he got the biggest pop of his life, even if he is not part of the match through it all, just by giving CM Punk the Diamond Dynamite ring. He got the biggest pop of the night. This match did what it needed to do, elevate guys such as MJF and Wardlow. Wardlow being derailed by some of the stuff, but MJF now the AEW World Champion. I feel like without this match, we wouldn't think of MJF as a title contender in 2022. Also, this match provided the last step for Punk before he challenges for the AEW World title, and we all know how that ended. And number one, Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes in a side. Hell in a Cell 2022. One of the biggest stories going in 2022, or one of the biggest stories in 2022, is that Cody Rhodes leaves AEW and then a few months after goes back to WWE. And since his arrival in WrestleMania 38, he had a couple of good matches and moments, and one of those matches is his match against Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. And the biggest reaction and the biggest reason this was the best match of the trilogy is that purple yam on his back. Check out this picture. match is that Cody Rhodes tore his pectoral muscle during a workout in the gym, and in true Cody Rhodes fashion, he insisted of pushing through with the match even though he has a torn pec and his pectoral muscle, even though he has torn his pec. Props to Seth Rollins in this match for taking care of Cody while still telling a great story throughout the match. And with Rollins having a reputation in the past years of being unsafe, this is something that people should acknowledge to Seth Rollins, that the care and the way he carried the match for Cody is superb. And Cody pushed through Cody pushing through the match even though he is injured is still one of the best feats of any wrestler I have seen. Just goes to show how much Cody Rhodes has loved the business that we are all in love with. And 2023 might be the year of Cody Rhodes when he returns. And that is it. Those are my top 10 must-see matches of 2022. Have I missed some? Let me know in the comments down below.